Bourbonbarkeep Lounge. I am in said lounge, so you know that it is a House Call Wednesday. House Call Wednesday is the house randomly generates 2 pours. We assess said pours, score said pours, and crown just one said pour. I think that's how the saying goes. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe immediately because it probably only goes downhill from here. And if you're returning, is it to laugh or I'm curious. But nonetheless, welcome. We have Glass A here. Give it a little swirl. Usually this is when I do the like, subscribe. That usually kills time a little bit better, but you know, we're a little discombobulated over here. And yeah, we use a lot of syllables on this channel, so buckle up. Glass A, let's see what we got on the nose here, and hopefully no one pranked me. Ooh, okay, like that. A lot of vanilla. This is like one of those caramel chews, post plastic wrapper, to be fair. That is plastic, right? We still allowed to use those? Some nice oak spice kind of coming through here. This is predominantly very sweet. Let's go, I'm gonna go peach this time. My mind kind of assumes cherry. It's sweeter than cherry. I'm gonna go like a nice ripe peach. Outside of that, man, I feel really good about that peach one. I do have another peach bottle behind me. I'm curious if that's it, but try and block that out. We're only assessing Glass A. Let's see what we got on the palate. Cheers. That's not bad. Not bad. Got some cinnamon spice around the tip of the tongue. More like a honey or light brown sugar. Coats the palate really well. Makes my mouth very watery. Peach is still there. Not bad. Let's go negatives on sip 1. Not horribly complex. If someone can get more than 4 tasty notes out of this, good for you. But peach, vanilla, and I'm gonna say caramel, slight oak, but yeah, it's a little flat, not a bad thing. Not one that doesn't seem like I can really dive into too much, but maybe that's sip 1. Let's see what we got in sip 2. Sip 2 the same. Once again, not a bad thing. You just kind of want to make sure you acclimate to it. A little less burn on the tip of the tongue. Overall, very coating of the mouth, which is great, but predominant like a peach. I'm gonna stick with the caramel chew, especially since I'm pretty sure there's vanilla in there as well. Finish is okay. Doesn't go deep into the stomach, but it's there a little bit. The first sip was a little more intense than the second. Doesn't seem like a terribly high proof one, but ultimately, like, if that is low, let's say 100, very mouth coating, which I personally like, and one that you wouldn't sit here and dissect on a Wednesday, obviously, because you're waiting for this to come out. But one to kind of kick back and see what happens with. So overall, really enjoyable. Lacking in terms of the complexity. Sometimes you want to peek behind the curtain, and sometimes you don't. And I don't know what I'm feeling today. You know, sometimes you just want to give everybody their fair shot. You know, and sometimes you feel like the older brother, and they stack the cards against you in Candyland, and all of a sudden they're near King Candy, and you're like, wait, it was 2 hands, man, relax. It's amazing what childhood trauma will come out, but let's see what Glass B has on the nose. lot more oak on this one. Seems to go maybe like a burnt caramel, just a more rich caramel. Some more nut on here. I'm gonna go maybe like a walnut. I don't know how much we're in depth with our nut smells, but if you don't like a good smell of the nuts, it's gonna be a different channel then. You're gonna have to go somewhere. I don't know. Overall, I like it. A lot more going on in terms of depth. Maybe like a dried red apple in there, that burnt caramel, and much more oak. This one smells a little higher aged, but we'll see what we got on the palate. Glass 2. No, damn, glass B. I haven't done that in a long time. Ooh. Oh, that's a good finish. Yeah. Spicier. Obviously not first sip of the day. Can't claim that because you just saw the first 2 sips. This one, much more robust. This one, the complete opposite with mouth drying. So if you want a good wet mouth, Class A. You want a good dry mouth, man, this is so dry. It is sucking it as I'm talking. Much more oak, cinnamon, maybe like a clove. Could just go baking spice, I guess, since I've already named 2 of the spices. Not bad. Much deeper on the finish. I like this one. I don't know, maybe it's the mood, but the mouth drying is aggressive. So let's see what we got in sip 2 and we'll go from there. Sip 2, great depth. I tried to give myself a little bit more time before I came back on camera because my lips hurt from being chapped at this point. I don't understand why we need to make it taste like I'm in the Sahara Desert, but I'm here in my mouth. Much more spice forward, much more depth. The characteristics of this one seem to go much older, but really enjoyable. Sounds like I'm beating it. I think it depends on kind of what you're going for. I'm curious what the side-by-side is because I kind of fear that Glass A is going to be overwhelmed by what is in Glass B. So hopefully the initial tasting notes help direct you. Where we go from here is I'm going to do said side-by-side and then do scoring that we've mentioned previously in the episode as well and see what we learned, if anything. So that should be a wild ride for everybody. The head-to-head matchup was a little brutal, mainly because Glass A, it's just lighter. It's just a fragile little bird that is not ready to leave the nest and go fly with a hawk that is Glass B. That being said, Glass A, great summertime pour. I could see this being widely liked, hopefully widely available. But with the lack of intensity in terms of what I would think is proof, lack of finish, but not really in a bad way, because I loved how a mouth coating it was. There's a great sweetness to it, to where I think that this could be pretty approachable for a beginner. Whereas Glass B, a little more burn, I would categorize it more as a fall or early spring. I like to do that because some bottles I'm just not going to touch in the summer. Just because it's a bird of prey does not mean that I enjoyed it more or that it won. Just what I would think is a much higher proof. You know, it's tough to go side by side. Onto the scoring piece, we do the senses here at Bourbon Barkeep. I had to think about what I was doing at the second. I don't really know. Whew. And we also do bang for the buck. So one will be pure taste. So is it great? Is it pleasurable? Is it highly average? Things like that. So we'll do that, and then we also put in an algorithm because we're fancy here. We like math. When I say we, I mean Noah likes math. And we also do bang for the buck. So we do take price in consideration. Onto the scoring. I think that's why you came. So let's just get on to the scoring then. So we have Glass A. I've run through the rundown. I've run through the scouting report. We're just going to go with 66. It's pleasurable, mid-pleasurable. It's definitely not great. Down the grade scale, but I think that you could be proud of being in the pleasurable category for multiple reasons. Glass B, on the other hand, it's a different animal. That was a very tough side-by-side. Try not to let Glass A get stomped on, just due to heat. It was an oaky cinnamon little bugger. I enjoyed it more. I do like a little higher proof, to be fair, which I think it is. The drying was a lot, but we'll go 68. I think it was, senses-wise, there was just a bit more going on that I personally look for. Once again, Glass B, probably not pouring in the summer. Glass A, for sure. So there are rightful spots and places and times and seasons for these bottles. So now we have Glass B, takes us on the senses, but things can change. As mentioned, we have an algorithm, and the algorithm, we'll see. So I'm going to start looking down if I haven't mentioned that, because I've done episodes and I don't remember what I've said at this point. But we have Bottle 14 here. Glass A is $24. And for $24, you wouldn't expect a ton of complexity. I feel like that is just punching above 24. And Glass B, $70. That's a tough market to be in, especially when you're tasting pretty similar in terms of scoring to a $24 bottle. We may have an underdog here, folks. We may. So at $24, I'd pay more. Not a ton more, to be fair. I'd pay more. Very smooth at $24. 72. Love it. 24. That may be something that's down here in the basement, in the lounge. Not the basement, the lounge. Maybe on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. We'll see. We'll see what it is. Glass B. It's not great. It's not great. Not $70. I don't have age. I don't have proof. Maybe that characterizes some of the price, but ultimately, I don't think, even if it was 10 years, 12 years, I'm not paying more than 70. So we'll go 52. Good. No, it's not good. It's pleasurable. I apologize for the confusion for all the people that are religious to these rankings. It's pleasurable, highly pleasurable, to be fair. So now what we do here, I reveal these bottles to me, and we can adjust bang for the buck if need be, I guess. We're just going to see how it goes. I mean, if one of these has a secondary of $500 and 70 or 24 is not realistic, then let's fix this, right? Get a recount. Recount. All right, Glass A is it's the Jim Beam 7-year. The new and what some say, I think Bourbonbarkeep would agree, improved Jim Beam at, what proof is this? 93 now. Is that right? I hope so. That's what's in the notes. 93 proof, I could see that. I mean, the thinness of kind of the finish, or I guess the swiftness of the finish, I should say, was very good. But overall, I mean, mouth coating at 93, that's actually pretty good. And for a 7-year bourbon, that's pretty good. What did I give the score for? 72? I mean, I could see like a 75. A 7-year at 24 years old, or $24. All right, so Glass B is Baker's 7-year. So we got 2 Beam products. A Beam off. I mean, Baker's brought the fastball, but I get your 7 years. And at $10 a year, I get it. It's just a no. Not when you have, I mean, maybe I'm just a big Knob Creek fan, but between the Knob 12 and 9, that's tough. The Jim Beam 7-year, priced under the Russell's 10. So if you don't like cherry, which I feel like that Russell's is heavy cherry, and you like peach, that Jim Beam 7-year is right up your alley. Will I adjust the Bakers? No, 52. It's fine. I don't need to. Why be mean? Once again, like it's a decent price point for the year, but I don't think, I wouldn't sit there and say, well, why would you ever buy a Baker 7 ever again? Because the Jim Beam 7-year is out, because there's a lack of intensity. But this would be one of the newer, because I haven't tried the other stuff, the other Jim Beam, like extra aged, what I think it took over for. I think this is a good party pleaser, very sweet, thin, and not gonna blow your socks off for someone that wants to get into the whiskey world. So chalk that up to your Russell's 10, your Elijah Craig's, to where this one, I think, takes that sweetness a little bit farther, but still in a quality. So not a ton of burn. Like 24 is a little skeptical, but that's not bad for what it is. Take that for what it is as well. Interesting. Happy we got through that one. Happy I did. I don't know if you're still here. If you are, like, subscribe, and that always keeps us motivated, and happy to know that we make you happy enough to move a mouse and click it. So we'll accept that. Until the next House Call Wednesday, be safe out there. Cheers.